So I like you to summarize the cell theory.
Okay. This continuation of the series we are dealing with, which is cell. Okay. Um, Cell has been worked by many scientists, which when you look at the previous video, you remember I spoke about some persons who are in the name of Robert Hooke, Theodore Schwann, Matthias Killedin. Then I forgot to speak about the first man that discovered the first living cell in the name of Anthony van Leeuwenhoek. So these are the ones that even Rudolf Virchow. Okay, these are the ones through which the theory of cell is being derived from. Okay, they actually derive the theory of cell, and I just have to summarize the theory. The first one, just like I said initially, the one that is being made, has been derived by or propounded by Rudolf Virchow, was on the law that all cells exist from pre-existing cell. They come from pre-existing cell. That's number one. Then number two is on the definition of a cell, which is the smallest functional unit and structural unit of life. All right. Okay. So take for instance why we define it that way. When we look at the white blood cell. Okay, let me use organ. When we look at kidney for instance is an organ, and then each organ is being made up of actually two or more similar tissues, similar tissues combined together. Then the cell, in the histological part, the cell is known as the nephron. So the nephron is the smallest part of a kidney. So if a kidney begins to deteriorate or begins to go down, it's going to be starting on the nephrons. All right. So that is on the second theory. So the smallest structural and functional unit of life or of any tissue or organ is actually the cell. The other one is that the information possessed by any tissue or any body or any organ is being embedded in the nucleic acid of a cell. Okay, so the development and the growth observed on plants and animals is being embedded in the cell. Then the last but not the least is that all organisms compose of cell. Yeah, all organisms compose of cell, whether maybe it can be one or more cells. Okay, so let's look at the next video. Thank you.